In this video, we're looking at unusually high or unusually low. And why we're looking at these is when we have a particular data value, we want to know if it's a normal data value or if it's an extreme data value. So we'll look at some of the parameters that help us make decisions about what is unusually high or unusually low. To explore this concept, we're going to look at the idea of colorblindness. So we have a researcher who takes groups of 5 males and records the number of colorblind males in that group. So X, our variable, is the colorblind males out of that group of 5. And so we see this discrete probability distribution. We see it meets all the characteristics, all the outcomes are here. No one is colorblind until they're all colorblind. And we have the probability for each. Each of these probabilities is between 0 and 1. The 0 plus is used because it is incredibly rare, really tiny decimal, but it's not impossible. And so that's this notation. I did double check the last characteristic, add these all up, and I got 1.001, and that is close enough to 1 to say that this meets the characteristics of a probability distribution. So now, our question. Is 2 an unusually high number of colorblind men in a group of 5 men? We have to know what characterizes a piece of data as unusually high. And so our first guideline is that we classify an item as unusual if the probability is 5% or less. So in that first blank, we'll put 5% or less. As a decimal, we would be looking for something less than or equal to 0.05 for the probability. So when we look at 2, its probability is exactly 0.05. So before we make a decision that that is definitely unusual, we need some more information. So the second guideline that we have tells us when determining if an event is unusual, we use the probability of getting X or any other value that is more extreme. Big capital letters here, do not use only the probability of exactly X. So let's think of a different example for a moment. Randomly picking an adult woman who weighs exactly 110 pounds. Pretty rare. But is 110 pounds an unusual weight for an adult woman? Probably not. If we picked 110 and anything less, we'd probably get more than 5%. I haven't done the actual math, but just giving you an idea. So even though one value may be rare in and of itself, when we are looking for something unusual, we want to know that value and anything more extreme. So in our case, we're looking for unusually high, so we'll be looking at 2, 3, 4, 5. In the weight example, I was using unusually low, so we would be looking at 110 and lower. So let's answer a couple questions before we answer the question about unusual. The first question we have here is find the probability of exactly 2 colorblind men in the group. That's easy. We just read off the chart, and it is 0.05. If you want that extra significant digit, go for it. Second, we're asked to find the probability of 2 or more colorblind men in the group. So that's again easy. We have all the probabilities. We just need to add up these in this section right here. So 0.5, have a 4 and a 1 there, and we'll get 0.055. We're not going to worry about adding anything for this 0 plus because we don't have an actual digit. Okay? Now we're ready to go back and answer our actual question. Is 2 an unusually high number of colorblind men in a group of 5? And our previous slide told us that we need to consider 2 and anything more extreme. So the probability that we're going to use to answer this is the second one. And because that is greater than 5%, we will answer no, it's not. And we're going to answer no because the probability of 2 or anything more extreme is more than 5%.